The pace of change is remarkable.
The win is now.
There's an explosion of innovation that's happening around us.
I see AI as a tool to get where we can go, where we couldn't go before.
The sky's the limit.
Artificial intelligence. It's shaping our hypotheses, influencing how we develop drugs, how we design and execute trials, and how we engage with patients that can benefit from new therapies. Early impact is there, but embedded impact of AI is, in reality, still in its infancy. I'm Kelsey McCloche, head of AI solutions for health and life sciences at Dataiku, and I'm asking the question, how will AI shape the future of this industry?
I think eventually AI will be something that is indistinguishable from consciousness, where it is conversive, it is dynamic, it is creative, it experiences loss. It may have all the facets of consciousness that we consider normal today, and maybe even exceed it, which I actually take some comfort in, because what if it can do all the tricks of consciousness that we have, but do them better, or with more awareness, or with more benevolence?
I do believe that generative AI's biggest opportunity is in the healthcare and life sciences space. There are thousands of diseases without any cures, millions of patients that have unmet needs. And so if we can, and there are early signs that the industry is doing this, start to leverage generative AI to reduce the failure rate of drug discovery and drug development and improve the likelihood of these particular drugs being targeted at the causal biology of a particular disease or having the desired characteristics that are going to make it more successful in the clinic, we think that is an incredible opportunity both for industry and for humanity at large.
I see the process as becoming much faster, much cheaper. We'll have obvious good drugs fast.
More disease will have a potential cure. So I think definitely a lot of we call it unmet clinical needs will be met.
We've heard some leaders start to iterate on the concept of a fully in silico drug discovery pipeline. Is that a vision to shoot for? Absolutely. Is that something that we'll see in the near term? Probably not, because biology is an incredibly complex language that is going to take a ton of computation, a ton of data creation, and a ton of experimentation for us to really be able to decode.
I think in the future, yes, we will be able to use computers to understand biology and to build models of cells, models of organelles, models of people even. But we need to do a lot of work in the lab to figure out all of that data, to feed into our machine learning algorithms.
One of the biggest dependencies for having a good AI solution is having the right data. So what I'm seeing and observing in the industry right now, that there is a huge emphasis on data quality, data governance, making sure we are getting the right data, because you can only build AI as good as the data you have.
Metadata is a love note to the future. And this goes through for any sample that's collected anywhere. If you collect it well with appropriate metadata, it can help your study and everyone that comes after.
We've always been data-driven as an industry. And what's different now is we have different techniques that are available to us so that we can draw insights from the data at a much greater pace and with much greater efficiency.
So I see AI as evolving in terms of more preciseness and more compute-powered tasks like deep learning, like generative AI, to answer the same questions, but with more probably accuracy and speed.
As generative AI advances, driving more applications for large language models across the industry, what's the role of the human in the loop? With such powerful models, how do we ensure the appropriate guardrails and performance monitoring are in place to both build and use them responsibly? It's not about stifling the possibilities, but setting the boundaries.
Every time there's a breakthrough, there's also unintended consequences as well. And so really understanding what those are and handling those in the most responsible and ethical fashion is needed. So every time there's an emerging capability that's doing amazing things, the question becomes, what are the unintended things that it might also be doing that we have to make sure we understand and mitigate against?
if we have this technology and it can do something that we would define as good or valuable, but that we don't think about the social and the political, the behavioral, the personal, the experiential, whatever it is, that may come from that, the revenge effects that come back, then we might not be able to achieve what we set out to achieve in the beginning. But if you monitor it and evaluate it constantly and iteratively, then you can ensure that at any point, if something goes astray or people are upset or whatever it is, you can adjust and move forward.
One of the most common concerns about AI is the idea that by integrating it into our workflows, people's jobs are at risk. But what is the reality? How in the future, or even now, will humans and artificial intelligence work together within the organizations it's being used in?
I think the reality is every job, your job, my job, it's going to be impacted by AI at some point. And the reality is I don't think we're going to see jobs are going to be replaced by AI. I think they're going to be augmented by AI. And so call it 6 or 7 years ago, a famous AI researcher made a claim that I wouldn't want my kids to become radiologists because they're not likely to have a job. The computers will do that. We haven't seen any material impact on the reduction of the workforce of radiologists over the past 6 or 7 years. What we've seen is an adoption by radiologists in new tools that make their lives easier, that make them more effective, and allow them to deliver better care to their patients. And so these are tools that are like work list prioritization for radiologists, so they know to bring their attention to the most critical cases.
The biggest impact AI will bring in the industry is going to be automation, because we have a lot of people doing a lot of work in their daily lives, spending a lot of time for work that can ultimately be automated. Now, this isn't AI is going to take my job. It's going to be AI is going to change how I work, because I think the best ideas or most creative ideas are actually from the individuals, not from AI. So if we can free people up from spending time replying to emails, which are very simple, and it can be a yes, no, here's a simple breakdown of what I know, then allow them to spend their time doing meaningful work, that's how the industry will change, because it will stop people being blocked from presenting good ideas that will change the face of healthcare as we know it.
Pharma, well known as a slow-moving industry, is beginning to hit the accelerator pedal. Diagnosing diseases faster, developing drugs faster, improving the quality and efficiency of our operations. Precision medicine is fast becoming a reality instead of a promise as we see more personalized therapies come to market. And AI is part of that momentum.
Pharma will be much, much more precise in addressing more individual circumstances and needs with more personalized treatments. And I would say pharma will be much faster in terms of being able to meet the needs of all stakeholders in the healthcare ecosystem. We're already seeing progress, and I think we're just going to continue to see acceleration and breakthroughs.
To me, AI, artificial intelligence, is not something distant, robotic thing. It's all about people in creation. There are people who create AI. They put their skills, their biases, and their insights when creating those models.
There was a time when we used to capture data on papers with pencils, then digitally via computers. And we started having small databases. Next evolution came, it became data warehouse. We talk about data lakes, and we talk about data mesh now. You see the evolution. I think this evolution is not gonna stop here.
We think artificial intelligence is going to hold significant promise across all of the value chain and the discovery, development, manufacturing, and delivery of biologics at large. A great example I like to think of is in the gene therapy space. With tools like CRISPR, we effectively now understand how to make the necessary edits to a genome that are going to eliminate or curb a particular disease.
CRISPR tools are not new. Discovered over 30 years ago, with many iterations since, we have just now seen the first regulatory approvals of cell-based gene therapies. AI plays an essential part to accelerate and de-risk development of new therapeutics treating conditions where before there was little or no cure.
Technology is driving this really new era in medicine. These are complex molecular tools and there's algorithms and AI that might seem abstract, but I think this has already fundamentally changed how we apply medicine. Before the age of prediction, medicine was really anecdote-based, and it was you go to one physician and that one doctor has his or her memories of a few hundred patients and applies that to your case. But today, we take all of your data, all of your molecular information, and you see you're one doctor, but that doctor has access to millions of other physicians' acumen and knowledge, as well as the billions of patients together that they've seen, and that then narrows down into your case, which then gives you better treatment, better diagnostics, better therapies. And that's what's transformative about medicine today.
Artificial intelligence is changing things. The way we develop drugs, the way we test them, the way our doctors prescribe them. But when we look to the future, the question arises, how do we realize the full potential of these new technologies? Who exactly needs to be involved in the further creation and implementation of AI when it comes to our health? The answer is simple: all of us.